Good day, everyone. This is Ardlas Arcos, and I'm one of the reporters in the 16th century of the history of mathematics. Okay, so general conditions. In the 15th century, printing having only just been invented. And in the 16th century, the printed page began to perpetuate means. The world moved rapidly, and the influences that bear upon the development of mathematics became more difficult to trace. Mathematics conditions attempt the solution of the cubic equations, a better symbolism, more rapid development, and development of trigonometry. So I'm going to discuss to you about math in different countries. Let's start with Italy. So in Italy, Leonardo da Vinci distinguished between curves of single and double curvature. That's in the art. Then we also have here Schiphone, I don't know how to read this one, Del Ferro, professor of mathematics in Bologna. And in geometry, he was interested in constructions depending on a single opening of the compasses. In algebra, he found the method of solving the cubic equation for the social case x cubed plus ax is equals to b. We also have Girolamo Cardano, first of the two prime movers of the solution of the cubic. Man of remarkable contrast, wrote a number of books on a wide variety of subjects. Wrote Ars Magna, the first great Latin treatise devoted solely to algebra. Next one is Girolamo Cardano. Solved all of the other types of cubics and solved the quartic equation. He approached Tartaglia for help with the pupil Lodovico Ferrari and discovered the solution of biquadratic. We also have Tartaglia, real name Niccolo Fontana, one of the greatest mathematicians of Italy and in 16th century. He have completed the solution of cubic equation, wrote the best treatise of arithmetic, published edition of Archimedes. He was challenged by Antonio Maria Fior in solving the 30 mathematician problem, and he won. We also have Lodovico Ferrari, was taken into Cardan's household in Malin when he was 15, professor of mathematics in Bologna. Rafael Bombelli wrote Algebra parte miglior dell'aritmetica, divisa entre libre. He puts rules for calculating and imaginary expressions. We also have Francesco Maurilico. He was interested in the Greek writers, so he translated into Latin works of Theodosius, Menelaus, Euclid, Apollonius, and Archimedes. Also wrote various general works of mathematics and arithmetics. Italian geometers. We have here various names: Federico Comandino of Urbino, Francesco Barozzi, Giambattista Benedele, Cosimo Bartoli, Pietro Antonio Catalde, Matteo Risi. Minor writers: Silvio Belli, Petrus Bungus, Italian arithmeticians Girolamo and Gianantonio Tagliente. We also have Francisco Feliciano Dall'Azescio and Giovanni Sfortunati, Giovanni Mariani. We are now in France. So, Jacques Lefebvre wrote an instruction to the arithmetic of Boethius, work of geometry, edited Sacrobosco's Spear, description of the number game of Rhythmo Masha, or Rhythmo arithmetic number. Marsha means battle. First, we have Charles D. Bowles, wrote on Geometry and Theory of Numbers, book on perfect numbers, work of cycloid, wrote on regular convex and stellar polygons, or Lawrence Fine wrote on astronomy, works on arithmetic and geometry, quadrature of the circle. Jean Femel published a work of Boethian types of proportion. His computation of the length of a degree of the meridian was so satisfactory as to entitle him to a worthy place in the history of geodesy. Claude Debussy wrote on poetry, music, and astronomy, arithmetic related to the science of welfare. Jean Femel. We have here Pierre de la Rame. All that Aristotle has said is false. Orator and skillful debater, edited the elements of Euclid and theoretical arithmetic, geometry, and optics. François Viète, the greatest of all French mathematicians of the 16th century. Letters represents numbers in algebra, vowels unknowns, consonants knowns, formula for sin no in term sign rather in term of sign no in term of sign O. Equation of the nth degree is made up of the n linear factors. So the relation between the problem of the trisection of an angle and the solution of the cubic equation. So formulas which relate to the coefficient of the polynomials, the signed sum and products of its roots, evaluating n by infinite products. So we have here the minor writers of such as Johannes Buteu, Francisco del Sol, Pierre Fourcade, Einstein de la Roche, Jacques Pelletier, Ian Trenchant, Monterregal Monloy, table product of numbers to 100 times 1000. So we are now in England. Tunstall dedicated the book of one of the greatest scholar and one of the noblest men of his generation, Sir Thomas More. His arithmetic was not original, the material being confessedly drawn from such Italian writers as Picholet. Record. Most influential English mathematicians, the four mathematical works written in dialogue, The Castle of Knowledge, a work of astronomy, and one of the first to bring the Copernican system to the attention of English readers. The Pathway of Knowledge, containing an abridgment of Euclid elements, The Whetstone of White, containing the extraction of roots, The Cosile Practice with the Rule of Equation, and The Worker of Serve Numbers. So this one, Page of Records Algebra. So the minor writers are here. We have Leonard Diggers, Thomas Diggers. John Dee wrote the preface of the first English translation of Euclid's Element. Thomas Masterson and Thomas Blundeville. The New World. Juan Diaz was a literary turn of mind, is as shown by the 3 or 4 books which he published. Of one of these works was on mathematics, and this appeared in Mexico under the following titles: Sumario, The mathematical text consists of 24 pages besides the colophon. So let's go now in Germany. Nature of German mathematics. The mathematics of Germany was Gothic, unpolished but strong. Germany produced a notable group of arithmeticians, two strong algebraists. Germany made a definite advance in geometry, in the study of higher planes curves. The greatest influence of advance in 16th century was printing. Erasmus and Martin Luther. It was certain of intellectual awakening and breaking away from traditions. The Margarita Philosophica. The modern encyclopedia of any note published at Freiburg in 1503 by Gregorius Reich. It consists of 12 books and includes considerable material upon arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy. There were 16 editions of the book in the 16th century. Albert Bohrer, showing his treatise in geometry, fortification, and human proportion in his mathematical powers. Johann Staufler showed how the Julian calendar could be brought into harmony with astronomical events, predicted that the deluge would be repeated in 1524, but was wrong. Michael Stiefel, the first German writer of the century to devote his life to mathematics and to acquire an enviable reputation in this field. Stiefel made an error of prediction the end of the world, and when it was seen that he was wrong, he was arrested. Christoph Rudolph worked on algebra, published 3 books, Cross, Constlichrechnung, and a collection of problems. Johann Schiebel gave the so-called Pascal triangle a century before Pascal wrote upon it, and extracted root as high as the 24th by the process similar to the one which employs the binomial theorem. Ludolf van Keulen, he is known for his value of n, at first given to 20 and then 35 decimal places. Grammaticus, real name Heinrich Skaber. His best-known work was an arithmetic in the German language, first German writer to make free use of the sign plus and minus in the treatment of algebraic expressions. Pitiscus, his trigonometry was the first satisfactory textbook published on the subject and the first book to bear this title. The classical group. Philip Melanchthon, Joachim Camerarius, Jacobus Misilius, Michael Neander, and Guilhelmus Cylinder. Mathematical astronomers. Petrus Appianus, George Joachim Riaticus, Christopher Clavius. He was engaged in the reform of the calendar under the direction of the Pope Gregory XIII, Johann and Andreas Schoner. Adam Rees, the greatest of all the Reichenmeister of this century, the only other Reichenmeister of the century to deserve special mention of Simon Jacob, who wrote 2 commercial arithmetics. Spain. The intellectual atmosphere was not favorable to the development of mathematics, however. Many Spanish scholars settled to France and Italy, or at least published their works abroad. Circulo. The earliest Spanish mathematician of the century of Pedro Sanchez. General work of mathematics Cursus Quatuor Mathematicarium Artium Liberalium Ortega wrote a Tractado Subtilissimo de Arithmetica Geometry was published in 1512 in Barcelona and Lyons, being the first book of uncommercial computations known to have been printed in France. Joan Martinus Blasius, an astrologer and arithmetician, published in Paris 1513. A work on computation, Joan Paris de Moya, is Arithmetica includes calculation, applied arithmetic, algebra, principal geometry, and contains a considerable amount of interesting historical materials. Netherlands. Joachim Fortius Nielbergius, astronomy, optics, arithmetic. Adrian van Roman gave the value of the 17th decimal places. Other works, treatment of the circle by Archimedes, spherical triangle Adrian Antonizon, known as Mythios, suggests 355 over 113 as convenient value of n. Adrianzon. Gale van der Hoek, plus and minus sign a symbol operation, gamma Frisius, Valentin Menher, arithmetic geometry and trigonometry, Judocus Clitovius, Simon Steven, the theory of decimal fractions. Switzerland. Henricus Loretus Glarianus, he wrote on arithmetic, meteorology, and music. Candarus de Sipodius, he had in mind the ending of all Greek mathematical works. He only edited Euclid's Elements and wrote a mathematical dictionary. Japan. The 16th century in Japan corresponds mostly to the 13th century of the West. It was a century of preparation. Probably the chief cause which this contributed to this preparation in the field of mathematics was a journey to China made by one Morikambi. Shigeyoshi Hideyoshi sent Mori to China to acquire and bring back the mathematical knowledge. Most famous mathematician from China was Qiu Yingxiang. Wrote on algebra and geometry. Mori's mission was not successful, but he bring him with a considerable amount of material. And that was my report all about the different persons involved in mathematics in different country in the 16th century. Thank you so much and sorry for the inconvenience. And let's all be safe. Thank you.